One.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? This is Kubi TV.
And I am World. And this is Tinica Rose.
Yes. Welcome to Blazin the Booth.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely.
So today's an exciting day for us as well.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm from Mount Vernon.
Oh, all right.
So I'm from out here. And and yeah, I write R&B.
Okay.
Um,
And how long have you been doing this?
oh, I've been doing this a really long time. A really long time. It's definitely been a journey, a process for sure.
Okay.
I recently released my project because I took a bit of a hiatus. So my last project was Big Girl Winter, and that came out in 2020. And my recent project was in March, and it's entitled The Other Side.
Really? Good.
Yeah, and that is it basically it's kind of the reason why I was away. Like I dealt with a lot of grief. I feel like most people did, like during COVID
time. Mm-hmm.
in that period of time. I lost probably about 5 family members to COVID. And so all were really unexpected.
Wow, I'm
So,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people were going through their own levels of grief.
Exactly, around that time.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
I didn't really talk. I kind of went into my own little, I feel like, guys sit you down a little bit. And or life will sit you down for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really talk. So when I finally did, and I was able to create that project, and it really signifies, or I feel like it really expresses the
emotions,
the emotions, the depths of grief
you were feeling at that time.
Yeah, that I couldn't express in those 2 years. People didn't know how to be there for me, but I didn't know how to ask. You know what I mean? I didn't know what to ask for.
Exactly.
Other than
going through something.
Yeah, other than your people back, right?
Absolutely.
So it's sometimes I said life doesn't get real until it's real. You know what I mean? Until there's things that you really don't have, you don't have control over, right, and you have to deal with.
And they say sometimes that's the best music you can make. When you talk about your life experiences and things that you go to, sometimes that's the best music or the best project people put together.
Yeah, because these gifts that we have, it's really for the world to have. So sometimes you just need, as an artist, you have to allow yourself to process your emotions, because you're basically a vessel of expressing that.
That's right.
For everyone else.
Exactly.
So I feel like this project is really for everyone. I feel like everyone can relate, because death is something that we're all guaranteed. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's something that we're all going to experience. And, there's no right or wrong way to go through it. You just have to allow yourself the process. It's very hard.
It's very hard to deal with death and then express yourself musically. Did you find yourself when you was going through that, putting things together? Was it hard to do that when you was doing?
Oh, I couldn't talk. Right? I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't it was a series of 14 months, and it was just one person after. It's it creates this, when first it started off with my nephew, who was 5 months, and he unexpectedly passed away. Right.
Wow.
So you get it's very shocking. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it was, it was my grandmother. And then after that, it was a coworker of mine. And then actually on my birthday, it was my stepfather. And then after that, it was my aunt. So I think by the time my aunt came, I just kept going. I kept pushing through. But by the time my aunt had passed, I think that was my breaking point. And so for me, I didn't jump right into the music. I allowed myself to really sit with it, really sit with how I was feeling.
Right. Now, when the 5-year-old,
5-month old.
5 month,
Mhm.
is this at the peak at the time COVID just started?
When
Like
he-
where we didn't really understand
No.
what
He
this thing
passed away
was?
that year.
Oh,
It was
okay.
later. It's actually his anniversary is actually coming up on the 12th, but of November. But he passed away. It wasn't COVID related. He passed away that same year of 2020. So he was born in 2020, and it was just, it's very shocking, and it still is to this day, to be fair. But like, and I kept going, like I kept doing music, I kept like performing throughout the pandemic. I kept pushing my project. And then my grandmother went, and it's just like, I just kept going. People be like, oh, you just gotta keep going. You gotta tough it out. But after the 5th person, I was like, yeah, I'm not one of God's strong soldiers.
Wow.
I need to sit down. Like I need to breathe.
Oh, yes.
I need to like,
Ooh, let it out.
yeah, I gotta collect my thoughts. I need to.
Right.
You kind of have to step back, because it makes you look at life. Like, what it's like when you have a passion and you're constantly moving, you're constantly going, the only thing on your mind is the next thing you have to do. And you don't always take time to be fully present, to really appreciate what you have. Right. And the thing about death, it always reminds us of the fragility of life. Yeah. And it's like, it's just, like I said, it's just something that we all are going to go through at some point. Right. There was a time where I couldn't even talk about it because I didn't know how to formulate my thoughts. I couldn't write. It didn't matter how much I tried to write about it. I couldn't connect with it, because in order for me to survive it, I had to disconnect from it a little bit, right? I had to kind of take myself out of it. So because to process everything at once would have taken me, like it would have, you know what I mean? It would take you to a place, but sometimes you have to go to that place and just sit in it. And I know that it sounds way easier than it is, because it is way easier. It sounds, in theory, it sounds great, but in reality, it's hard. Very hard.
I can see it.
But if you listen to the project, The Other Side, you'll just see like how raw it is. And the song that I'm going to perform today, which is called 2 p.m.
Okay.
The thought behind it was, it's not about 3 o'clock in the morning. People know 3 o'clock you're supposed to feel lonely, but people don't talk about like how it's midday, life is moving, it's in full bloom, and you feel like, what is going on? Like,
so this
you feel
2 p.m.
It's called 2 p.m. because it's about when you're just sitting there, you're just sitting there, and then all of a sudden you realize it's like you're grieving. You don't understand why life is going on. You don't understand how everybody can be smiling and how people can still be existing when the people you love aren't here.
Right. That's like sitting outside at lunchtime and you seeing happiness going on, and you see some sad going on. You see people dealing with death at that particular time. Yeah. So 2 p.m. is like,
it's deep. Life. Yeah.
Like, I ain't think about it just until she started saying it. 2 p.m. 2 o'clock in the midday, you like.
It's when you feel it. And nobody talks about that grief. We talk about 2 o'clock, because 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're supposed to feel alone. The world is quiet. Right. You can feel the most, like you can hear the most, but nobody talks about when life is in full motion and you're like, damn. And then there's another song on the project called 5 p.m. And for those, it's like, if you ever have a routine, right? You have a routine with someone you love. And it's like, for me, it was my gram. And I was used to 5 p.m. I'm out of work. I call my grandma, like, what do we need? What's going on? Like, I'm on my way. Right. Like, you know what I mean? And when it's a part of your routine and it's broken, you don't, it's like you sometimes it's an automatic thing. You go and you just reach for your phone, or you have like that bit of good news and you're reaching for your phone and you're like, oh, like that. I think that's the hardest reality, is when that happens, when you reach for your phone and you realize, oh man, like, that's there. Right. They're not there. They're not there. Like, who am I going to tell this? Like, who am I going to call to tell this that's actually going to care to hear it? You know what I mean?
Or appreciate it.
So yeah.
I mean,
not to be all like sad and somber, but that project was a very real. But if you don't, because if people don't want to hear it, I got to have music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big Girl Winter is more playful. It was more fun. You know, I put it out in 2020. It was just like, I was just having fun.
No, we want to hear this new project.
Yeah.
But the other side, I think I really believe it's very therapeutic, like for someone who's
been through this
or who's going through it.
Right.
Especially if you're going through it, because it's very hard to express how you feel. See, I only wrote one song. There's one song on the project. It's called Always. And you'll laugh when you find out like what inspired it.
Well, give me a chuckle right now.
I watched the Harry Potter series, right?
Okay.
I watched the Harry Potter series and I watched the last movie, and I forgot, like the professor on there. I don't know why I can't think of his name.
Is that the one with
the dark hair?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a Harry Potter person, but
Professor Snape.
Gotcha.
So in the end,
you know about Harry Potter?
No. Okay, so people don't know, but it's like Lily is Harry's mom, which happens to be. It's revealed in the end, like that was Snape's like best friend. That was like the love of his life, and he was so loyal to her that he really played the game. Like he did all these things and he went to great lengths just to protect. Even though, I mean, he went through being persecuted, being accused of being like, you know what I'm saying? All these things. And in the end, he loses his life, but it makes it sadder when you realize that the whole time he was just protecting Harry.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, anyway, so like the thing that they said, like his thing was always, right? It was just always. So when I wrote the song Always, it made me think about the people that I miss and that I love, and how like, you know, people talk about manifestation. Yo, you dream it, you can think it, whatever. And I'm like, and in that moment, I'm like, I don't want to like manifest anything. If I would manifest anything, it would be my people to be right here with me, my people to be back with me, the people that I love. I would manifest them in the physical. And so that was like the basis of that song. So that's what inspired that. It took me a whole year before I would write another song for the project. I only had that one song and I left it alone. Like I didn't do anything with it. I just had it on my computer. And then I think I was like it was like Christmas break or whatever. It was literally the day before I went back to work, and I was like, I haven't recorded, I haven't done anything. I sat down and I don't know what came over me, but I wrote every single song, and in 2 hours I was done.
Wow.
I was like done with the whole entire project. And then I went to the studio that weekend. Thank you. I went to the studio that weekend. I booked like a 4-hour session and I recorded the entire project. I put it together and I just released it. I just picked a day in the air and I just released it, because I was like, it doesn't matter. Like people, you know, especially when you're an indie artist, they're like, oh, you have to have a rollout. You have to do this. But the truth of the matter is you just need to put it out, because you'll overthink the process and you won't put it out. And the whole point is that when you keep moving forward, you know, like you guys don't know, you're just meeting me, but now you may be inspired to listen to the rest of my music. Your audience might be inspired to listen. But if I didn't put it out, we would just be talking about things in theory. Right. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, you know, I just put it out, and that's it. Like and you know, it was really for like my family, the people that I love, and you know, obviously for everyone. Like I just want anyone who's like going through it to know that
you're not alone.
You're not only are you not alone, but I can understand how you feel. Like I may not understand it to the extent of which you're, you know, the magnitude of your loss, because nobody will be able to understand that. Right. But as far as like simple human emotion, then I understand that. And there's songs for it, and you can cry to this, or you can just think about, you know, like you could just reflect on life, and you know, because sometimes you just want to hear real things.
Wow. I mean, that's
you know.
Hey, that is inspiring right now. I can't wait. Have you did any music or any collaborations with anyone or any?
I've done like.
Are you thinking about doing things like that?
Well, I've done like features.
Okay.
I've done features throughout my career. I worked with like, a lot of local artists. I used to do song referencing from this for the songwriter from Sony. So like I've done like a lot of behind the scenes stuff too, as well as, I just write and I perform. But one thing I'm truly passionate about that I really want to get back into, which I started early in my career, was writing one woman shows. Like my first project, The Girl Behind the Sarcasm, is a show that I wrote. I just like, I was like performing a lot in the Bronx, and I had like, I had auditioned for something for Lehman College.
Okay.
And I was never a student, but I auditioned and I got in to this performance. And I built a relationship with them, and I convinced them. I was like, yeah, I wrote a show. I remember I ran into him and I was like, oh, I have this show for you. You should just let me perform it. Like, and he's like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, it's going to be great. It's a great show. I was talking all my stuff. When I tell you, I didn't have nothing about this song. I didn't have not one thing. I went home and I wrote the show, and it was just like a bunch of songs that I put together. And it was like, and I called it The Girl Behind the Sarcasm. And it was just basically like a show that depicts like, how like sarcasm is a defense mechanism to keep the outside from coming in. But what ends up happening, what ends up happening is you end up keeping everyone out. And it's just like, you end up like minimizing your experiences because you're cutting them off before they can begin. And so it was just like a bunch of songs, and that's how it started. Well, that was actually my second show. The one before that was Dirty Laundry, The Rinse Cycle, which was like the first show I've ever did. But I like The Girl Behind the Star because that was the first time I was coming into my own. Like, like I was more connected with my audience. And it was just like I had a real narrative behind the project. But Dirty Laundry, The Rinse Cycle, it was just literally all these songs. It was like airing out your dirty laundry, basically. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
So this platform here, this Blazin the Booth, is a brand new show underneath the Kubi TV network. And what it's designed to do is to bring artists together to do a mini concert. And what we're trying to do is develop, enough people so that way we can try to make it on the road type of show, go on the road in different cities or, and try to do a mini concerts. So when you said that you did a show, that just blew my mind right away. Like we definitely want you to put together another show, and we can have that, try to find a location where we could just feed that show.
Oh, and let's put it amazing.
Together. Yeah.
And be on the road again.
Right? Because that's tomorrow night at 8:00 on the road again show.
Nice.
That's one of the shows, the platforms where we actually did a couple of mini concerts at a spot called Ava in New Rochelle.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we put on a little, and the links will be in the bio.
I'm not familiar with Ava, but I've one of my shows, which is The Girl Behind the Sarcasm. After I did it at Lehman College, it was like an old vegan spot in New Rochelle. It's now closed down, but I performed over there as well. Like I produced it, and it was just me and my guitar player, and like we had like this whole show. Now it'll probably be a little different depending, but either way we have the show. Like I have the music, and and I just finished, like I've just been writing. I started a new segment like on my Instagram, which is like the process and the product, because it's like the process of my songwriting, and then I show people the product of my work, which is like, I try to keep it between 3 to 5 minutes because people's attention span.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? But you have to be able to
absorb it,
because I don't think people understand. Like, sometimes you write a whole bunch of trash before you find like a good song.
Good hit. Right.
And there's times where like I'm in the middle of it, I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. Like I want to quit. This is so bad. Like, oh my God, like I won't let them hear it because it's just so bad. But and then in the end, it's like, okay, I persevered. Like we have a song and now we're going to hear it. So it's on my Instagram page and my TikTok and on pretty much all my social media. I've posted it.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Are you your own worst critic?
I think everyone is. I think we all are to a certain extent, unless you live in Delulu, which some of us do. Delulu, that means a land of delusion. But I think that when you're passionate about something, you are going to be your worst critic, because when you have a vision in your head and you're trying to translate it, sometimes it'll run you ragged until it comes out. And sometimes it's either very specific. Right. So you can tend to be very critical of your work. But I honestly, at this point in my life and in my career, I just trust in it. Whatever it is that I do, I trust in what I'm doing. Excellent. Because I feel like there's purpose behind it. And if it's not for me, it's for someone else. No. Because as an artist, like, that's very spiritual. Like you're very connected in that moment. Like when you're allowing yourself, that's everyone. When you're in a creative energy, you're really like, you're channeling something that's bigger than you. So if you're constantly critiquing it, you're missing the opportunity to connect with someone. It could be one person. Right. But they might need it. They might have had a long day, and like, you don't know what their prayers are. And you might have said the one thing that triggers them to feel like, damn, I feel so much better. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful feeling. I think we get too caught up with like, celebrity and money. All those things are great, but you have to know why you're doing things, because if not, it's not fun. It's not a fun process. It really isn't. It's not always fun. Like it's not as glamorous as it looks. Like
of course not.
You put the makeup on, you get your hair done. All that stuff is cool, but it's not glamorous in the sense that you're facing things. You're going through your own problems. True. But you're telling people, you gonna be all right. And you're like, why are you making me tell these people they're gonna be all right? I'm barely all right. Like, I'm scraping. And then it's like, but I feel like even when you do that, for me, when I play it back sometimes, it makes me feel better. Like it's like, oh, okay.
That's good. I mean, that's powerful. And just listening to you right now, I'm uplifted. And I can't wait to hear this music. I would love to hear just about all three of the joints you just spoke about. Like, they are really inspiring. Just titles. Just the title itself.
I love me a good title. Let me tell you. I love me a good title. And you got
three good ones that you just blew up right now.
Oh, you have to see in my series. I wrote this song, and I'm more than likely going to release it. It's probably going to be the next song I release. It's called Alice in Underland. Which is like, like the movie Alice in Underland. Yeah. But if you listen to the song, then you're totally going to get why it's called that.
What? Do you pick out your own music, or you write the lyrics, but the music itself, do you work with someone special?
Child, I go on the internet. I ain't even going to lie to you.
Oh, really?
That's what I tell people. I'm like, I utilize whatever I have. And I used to work directly with producers and building a relationship, but depending on their schedule, depending on the opportunities they have, sometimes it pulls them in different directions. Okay. And I remember for a point in my career, I didn't have any producers. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to move forward? And I just figured it out. I just went, I did my research. I found like beats that I can lease. I had to figure out what's the process behind that. I learned how to, what's going to be the best distribution company to go with to put out my music into platforms. And I just did it. Good job. I just did it. And so like how I pick out beats, it's really off the feeling.
Well, you can't go wrong with that.
No, Michael Jackson had this interview once. It's like a 2020 interview. And he's like, he was talking about like how he writes his songs and stuff like this. And I remember I saw it as a little kid, and it just always stuck with me. And he was like, he doesn't go into a session with the idea of a song. He goes into the session and he listens to the beat, and the beat writes the song. Like the beat tells you where to go with. Like if you listen to it and you hear it, like I'm not a person who likes to fill beats with all these harmonies, and I think that is beautiful if you do it. And it's something that I do enjoy doing. But I think sometimes like producers create this music that is just so beautiful that I feel like the music that I write, I want to complement the beat. Like I want it to seem like I want it to be just as in the forefront as the music. Some people
I understand where you're coming from.
If you listen to the other side, you'll see there's like breaks in between the verses. But if you listen to it, it's like if you close your eyes, you can literally envision the lyrics. Like you can see it. You can see it unfolding. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, people put visuals to everything, and that's great. Right. We're going to get the budget for that. But it's like, the music, I always think like that project, the reason why I haven't put anything is because the project is so cinematic in my head that unless I can pay for it to be exactly the way that I want it, I just won't do it because it won't do it justice. And I don't want to shortchange it. But if you close your eyes and you listen to the other side, even the song "The Other Side," that's one of the songs on the project. Right. It's like you can smell the air. Like you can smell the air. You can smell like you just feel the change. Like it's like.
See, I'm feeling it right now. And we ain't even get there yet. You
can feel the cool breeze. It's just like, it's so, I think it's just so powerful.
Man, it's powerful. It's spiritual. It's all you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that's what it's about. And this is, listen, let's without a further ado, let's get her on the mic and let her spit it.
Blaze the booth.
Hey, say what it is again.
Hey, blaze the booth.
Well, let's blaze it. Let's blaze the booth.
Yes.
And let me close my eyes so I can feel.
Yeah.
Feel it
I'm just giving you guys a sneak peek because I really want y'all to listen to the album.
First of all, let everybody know where they can find you at. All your Instagram.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it real easy for everyone.
I'm listening.
It's Tinica Rose, and it's just TINICA and then Rose like the flower. You can find me on all social media,
all platforms.
You can Google me, and it'll come up because nobody really spells their name like me. Right. So it's it'll come up on Google, and you can just follow me on social media. I'm on everything, but primarily I'm on IG. But you can find me on everything else.
That's
what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Go ahead and take your place in the booth.
Okay.
And do your thing. Yeah. That's Tinica Rose, man. Yo, I want to thank her so much for coming on tonight's show. And now she's going to go over and get herself ready to blaze that booth.
Blaze it. I mean, listen.
Yo,
she got me inspired. I'm ready. I'm going to close my eyes and get in tune with the music and stuff.
That's right.
I look forward to that. I mean,
yeah,
she was just a very, very. The energy that she gives is so vibrant.
Yeah,
I can feel it. I can feel. So I'm just imagining what type of music she gonna lay down tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Blazing the booth.
Yeah, I would love to. Like I was telling her earlier, I would love to get her to actually see if we can reach out to Ava because I think they're back open again. I think they open and running, and that's a very intimate, nice place.
Yeah,
to have one of her shows there underneath Blazin the Booth and On the Road Again show.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd
be nice. That's something.
A collabo.
That's something that never happened yet, but once that happened, I can see that being big. That's big.
Yeah, that's nice.
That is nice. I mean,
yeah.
All this is under Kuba TV network. Everybody stay focused, and that's what we had on Kuba TV's network. And when you follow that, you see all the varieties of shows, and just plug in yourself. And all the shows are going to take you for a ride with me. All interesting, all good, all good. So stay with us again. Tomorrow night is on the road again.
Tomorrow night is on the road again.
And
that's right.
And that's at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. tomorrow night.
Okay. And Thursday night you have the
Three Caballeros.
Right. And that starts at what time?
But actually this Thursday they're not going to be on because they do have a game against White Plains High School.
That's
oh boy.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing that.
Yes, on Kubi TV Sports.
Yes,
with my main man Scoop Famous.
Yes, he's going to be there.
He will be there in the building.
And don't get offended with Scoop says, because all he do is get the scoop.
That's all he does.
And on
Sunday you got the Glizzy Boys podcast, and it is a special Sunday, special Sunday. October 29th, we having a spooky challenge.
Wow, that's gonna be something.
Five glizzies, fully loaded, chili cheese fries, and a large drink. You eat it all within 30 minutes.
Hey, there's no pause, nothing.
No pause on the Glizzy.
Lord have mercy.
It is no pause on the Glizzy Boys podcast. Yo, it's unpausable. And you listen, if you can eat all of that at one time in 30 minutes, you win $100 cash. And your food is paid for.
Well, after you eat all that, you're gonna need that $100 to wipe your ass. That's what I'm talking. Because you're gonna have to go. You know
that's right.
Well,
so at this time, I want to definitely get to Blazin the Booth.
Let's go back.
So you go on and Blaze the Booth over there and talk to them. I'm gonna talk to the people for a little more.
All right. Yeah, and you're gonna give me the sign and we're gonna make it happen. All right, I'm on my way.
All right. So that's my man World right here on Blazin the Booth. And he's gonna go on to the other side and help us out and get that microphone going over there. Yeah, just hit the unmute the joint over there, brother.
Yes, sir. On my way. Blazin the Booth.
Blazin the Booth, my man.
Word.
Yeah, so World's going over there. We're gonna take care of that. Tinica Rose. I'm so sorry. Tinica Rose is gonna do her thing, and this is Blazin the Booth. And special to did he hit the camera or did he hit the there we go. All right, now we live. Go ahead.
All right.
Standing in the room, but they all feel the changes. Swimming at the top of my lungs, but they can't. How am I supposed to heal? Talk of solutions as if it were easy. Words are not enough when I see the things they can't see. How am I supposed to feel? Searching for the meaning of life, when nobody tells you what they don't know, and everything don't seem real. Searching for the meaning of love, when everything feels transactional, and I don't know how to deal. And I don't know how to deal.
Well, all right. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you,
That was
Steph. Remember, it is The Other Side by Tinica Rose, and it's available on all streaming platforms.
Again, we thank you for appearing and blazing the booth with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Like I said, I just closed my eyes just a few minutes ago.
See, did you feel it?
Did I feel it?
You felt
Man,
it.
listen, it all went all the way through me.
Listen,
From head to toe.
that's it.
Head to toe.
That's it.
And we're thankful and we're grateful for you to be here. We're going to support you and follow you all the way through your endeavors and whatever. We also, when we put our concert venue thing together, we definitely need you on that show.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about it.
All right, let's
All
make
right.
it happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you again.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. This is World. That's Kubi TV.
Yes.
And Tinica. Did I say it right?
It is Tinica.
Tinica is what it is, and that's what it's going to be. Good night.
Good night.